Don't you just love when there's a holiday that may or may not be completely irrelevant to you, but gets you a 3-day weekend? Now, imagine if every week was like that, and you didn't need to celebrate George Washington's birthday or Columbus Day in order to get that lake trip you've been needing. I'm Henry Danneberg, and as a business student about to enter my final year, I've had experience with schedules both including and not including class on Fridays. I don't think I've met a single other business student that enjoys having class on Fridays. Because, it's supposed to be a day to relax, right? As I'm getting closer to graduating and entering the real world, I'm dreading more and more having to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, until I get to retire. As a man of leisure, I think it's time businesses start exploring other options when it comes to the work schedule. Switching your business from a 5-day week to a 4-day week could be incredibly beneficial for the success of your company, whether the office opens earlier or there is a decrease in overall hours. Recent studies have shown that this may be a more efficient way to run your business. Several things it may improve include reduced cost, an increase in happiness and healthiness of your employees, and an increase in overall productivity. Going off my first point, a reduction of costs, according to Michael S. Davies, certified measurement and verification professional for IOTA Communications, the average monthly utilities cost for commercial buildings in 2019 was $2.10 per square foot. And, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the average commercial building constructed in the United States between 2000 and 2012 is around 19,000 square feet. So, if my math is correct, the average office spends somewhere around $40,000 every month on utilities. If one day of office use was cut out each week, it could save over $5,000 a month in expenses. This extra $5,000 could go towards more beneficial things, like employee bonuses, extra office supplies, or maybe even a retreat every once in a while, since keeping office morale is high if you want a successful business. This brings me on to my second point, which is an increase in the health and happiness of your employees. Mental health has become an increasingly talked about topic over the past several years, especially now with the whole coronavirus situation. We now know that high levels of stress can lead to physical health conditions, to go along with things like anxiety and depression on a spectrum of severity. According to a survey found on the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's website and distributed by Northwestern National Life in 1991, 40% of workers report that their job is very or extremely stressful. MayoClinic.org lists several conditions that stress can put on your body, including muscle tension, headaches, chest pain, fatigue, upset stomach, sleep problems, and even a lowered sex drive. But those are just the physical aspects of it. As an employer, you definitely want the highest quality employees working under you if you want your business to be successful. One of the most important things people consider when searching for a job is how much it appears upper-level management cares about its employees. In fact, the human resources advisory firm, Korn Ferry, did a survey in 2016 asking over 1,100 professionals what their top reason was for choosing one job over the next. The number one answer at 23% was company culture. But for any ethical business professional, caring about your employees should be more than just saving face to acquire quality candidates, because caring about your employees as people, not just workers, is very important. This is where the 4-day week comes in. Extra days off means more time to relax, spend time with family, doing physical activities like working out, or even taking trips. The less stressed your employees are, the healthier they will be. And a healthy worker is a productive worker, which brings me on to my final point, which is an increase in production. Bill Chappell at National Public Radio published an article about Microsoft, among other companies, testing out the 4-day workweek model last August at their branch in Japan. They actually reported a 40% increase in productivity due to this change. One of the things that made this change easier was a mandatory limit of 30 minutes for each meeting to cut down on unnecessary time that was spent during the original 60-minute meetings. Going back to my first point about cost reduction, they also claimed to use about 60% less paper, and their electrical consumption dropped by 23% in comparison with August of 2018. Chappell also mentions a global survey conducted by Kronos of over 8,000 employees about their preferred amount of workdays, given equal pay, And the number one option selected at 34% was 4 days. Lastly, Chappelle mentioned another company, Perpetual Guardian, a trust management firm located in New Zealand, who also tested out the 4-day workweek. They reported a 20% gain in productivity, but also a 45% increase in employee work-life balance. The company decided that those numbers were worth the permanent switch to 4 days, and they've had continued success since then. What would make it easier than ever today to switch to a 4-day week is the immense access to technology that businessmen and women have at home and on the go. Usually, it can be just as easy to file a report or conduct phone calls outside of the office as it is at work. So, if there are still things to do, you can do them from home. To further show the increase of productivity with increased technology, the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that from 1987 to 2015, productivity in the United States rose by 5% in information, manufacturing, and retail industries. Unfortunately, compensation for that productivity only increased by less than half of that. So, with more stuff able to be done in less time, it should make sense to have less days to work. Switching your business from a 5-day workweek to a 4-day workweek can be very beneficial, whether there is a decrease in hours worked or workdays start earlier. It could lead to reduced costs, especially with utility expenses, an increase in the health and happiness of your employees, and an overall increase in the productivity of your company. Too much work can lead to stress, and it is time to make a change if it would make sense for your business. You shouldn't need to celebrate Columbus Day to get some time off to go to the lake. He didn't even discover America in the first place, to go along with a few minor character flaws. Thank you. Have a nice day.